Welcome everyone! On this channel we talk about the beautiful and complicated life of nomads. So let's begin!
Hello, my name is Elena and I'm the host on this channel. I was born in Serbia, lived in France for 16 years and now live in the UK. I speak 4 languages and I worked as a flight attendant for 10 years, and that is how I met my today's guest, Thibault, who will be joining us shortly. I will let him introduce himself. Hey Thibault, how are you doing?
Hi, lovely to see you.
It's so good to see you. It's been ages. So Thibault and I met back in France, where we both lived a long time ago. It seems like a lifetime ago. And we were both flying for the same airline, and I'll let you tell them which airline if you want to, and then who you flew with before and after, because you have a lot of flying experience, don't you?
Oh God, yeah, I've been all over. I've been all over the place. So we met flying for EasyJet in Paris.
Yeah, the orange one.
Yeah. Then wanted something different, wanted to live abroad. So went to work for ANA in Japan.
Yeah, he abandoned me and went to Japan for how many years? 2 years, 3 years?
No, about 4 years, yeah.
4 years, wow. And you had to learn Japanese for that?
Yeah. So that was a bit mad. So when I went for the interview, I couldn't speak like a word of Japanese or anything.
Of course.
So then I went for a month training, like learning Japanese in London. That was really, really hard.
I can imagine.
But we had a laugh. I mean, like, I made friends for life, like working for the airline. Because it was so hard working for Japanese, but we really bounded together. So
what other nationalities did you have working with you?
We had all European, really. Like, we had French, Spanish, Portuguese, English, but most of them were like half Japanese and half something.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
so they knew about the Japanese culture. They already knew what to do, what not to do. Yeah.
And they knew the language and everything. And it was only a couple of us, like this like Spanish friend of mine, and we couldn't speak like a word. So that was really hard. We had to learn everything. We had to learn how to do the service in Japanese. And it's like a different way to speak. Like, because if you speak to a customer, they call it okyakusama. You have to it's like speaking to God. So
it's not even the customer is the king, it's the customer is God, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to speak like proper Japanese, and they call it keigo, which is like a really polite way to speak. So yeah, that was interesting, but I learned the culture, loved it.
Yeah.
It was hard work, but it was cool, yeah.
Yeah, and just living there as well must have been really something compared to, you were born in Switzerland, so compared to Switzerland and then France, yeah, it must have been completely different, but you made it. And
I remember moving there, like my first breakfast in Japan.
Oh yeah, what did you have for your first breakfast? You remember?
My God, honestly, I wanted to cry. Like, because I was tired and the jet lag and everything.
Of course, yeah.
I got for breakfast, and then it was like raw fish with and rice.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a bit of a culture shock.
Yeah, all I want is croissant. Just give me a croissant, please.
Honestly, I was like, where's my pain au chocolat?
I must admit, I can't imagine eating raw fish for breakfast. I mean, I don't eat raw fish anyway, but raw fish for breakfast must have been, yeah, okay.
Imagine, we did jet lag, we were tired.
Of course, yeah.
I just wanted a nice breakfast, like a croissant or something.
The traditional European breakfast, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's quite the opposite here. When I moved here, it's like I want my pain au chocolat, just like tartine, just a piece of bread with some jam, and then you end up having a full English. I can't digest this in the morning. This is too much. As a brunch, I love it. It's not a problem. That's kind of the good time to have it. But I couldn't eat a full English breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning.
No way. I don't really do breakfast anyway, but. Yeah,
you shouldn't skip breakfast. It's a good meal. It's your most important meal of the day.
And I'm not really a morning person, so
That's the only difference between us. So let's rewind a little bit. So you're almost my twin. We were born around the same time, but you were born in Switzerland, right?
Yeah. So I was born in Switzerland, born and grew up in Switzerland, in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, near Lausanne. Lived there till the age of 16.
16 when you moved? I thought it was 18.
Well, first when I was 16, I moved to the US.
Oh yeah,
I
right.
went on this like exchange program for like a year and a half. So lived in Texas.
I was in Texas. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Hated it. I mean, no offense to anyone.
It's different, isn't it? It's just, especially coming from Switzerland. I mean, going from the UK to Texas should be pretty much or the same or right, but going from Switzerland must have been a shock.
Yeah, it was a bit.
What is it that you didn't like, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I suppose I was 16 and moved there. I mean, I stayed with a host family. They were lovely, but for me, the biggest shock, I think, was the food.
Okay.
They would do.
Honestly, you are a fussy eater like me.
No, but they would have fast food like every day.
Yeah, no.
Like my host mom, she was lovely, but she would come and get us from school, and then we would go to Whataburger, which is like this kind of like McDonald's, I suppose, for like Texas.
Okay.
With like massive burgers. And like
everything's so much bigger over there. Everything, yeah, the portions.
Literally every day they would have chips and burgers.
Gosh. Not very healthy. Not a very I guess it's also the family that you stayed with. It could be.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Then when my first day at school, I had to choose what I wanted to do, like choose my major and stuff. But
all right.
I couldn't speak a word of English. So
whatever you did, it was going to be difficult. Yeah.
Thanks God, there was this German girl that started with me like the same day. So she would translate everything for me. I would like ask her like, oh yeah, so I'm going to choose this, I'm going to choose that, and then she would just like translate everything for me. The head teacher, she was like, there was different grades. I suppose you had English 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
She put me in English 3, even though I couldn't speak like a word. And she was like, yeah, but it's fine. You speak 2 languages already, so you'll be easy. Yeah. You'll be more than fine. And yeah, like after a few weeks, I was already already talking. So
there's nothing better than living in the country to learn. It's the best way, isn't it? When you don't have a choice, when you have to learn, you do it because you have to get by. It was the same for me when I got to France. I was 12, but I didn't speak a word of French. Well, I knew like 5 words, maybe the same as you in English. And I had to learn, and you learn within, as you say, a few weeks, few months, you start to get by. Yeah, you have to. So after America, you moved back to Switzerland for a bit, or you moved straight to France?
Then I moved back to Switzerland for a bit, but I knew I wanted to move to Paris, because I mean, for me, being Swiss, being foreigners, I had this like image of Paris, a bit like Emily in Paris, you know.
Oh, I really need to watch that. I haven't watched the last one.
Oh, you need to watch it. It was great.
Do you want to do a review with me? We can watch it together and do a review.
Oh, we can do. Yeah, well, that'd be great.
That'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
So
for me, like I suppose I saw Paris, the Eiffel Tower, and for me, I mean, it was like,
yeah.
I was kind of dreaming like the big life and stuff. So
the magic of Paris, yeah.
So moved to Paris, trained to be cabin crew. Then it was find a job with Ryanair. So I was based in Dublin. Yeah.
You're going from one extreme culture to another, aren't you? You're just bouncing from one to another.
I was saying I've been all over really, like I can't really stay in a place for too long. So I was in Dublin for like a year and a half. I loved it. I mean, I know
people are just so cheerful, aren't they? And it's just they're so welcoming.
Nice.
Yeah,
they're very nice, and I loved working for Ryanair. Like
I know that was always a surprise to me. Every single time you said it, I was like, "What? How? No."
I suppose because it was kind of a dream to be like cabin crew, and it was
your first, it was your first airline, yeah, exactly.
I mean, the first love is always something special, you know.
Yeah, well, I had the same with Madrid, as it was my first travel on my own, and it will always be my favorite city in the world, because it's like that feeling of independence and that feeling of, okay, I'm doing something that I love. And for you, it was the same. It was the idea of, okay, I'm finally flying. I don't care who it is for. I don't care if it's rubbish conditions, but I'm doing what I want to do, what I love. So yeah, that's the most important. So how long was that for? About a year and a half, 2 years?
Year and a half, yeah, about a year and a half. And it was really cool because it was the first time I lived. I was sharing a flat. So I was living with I think it was a girl from Slovakia. There was a girl from Czech Republic. There was a guy from Poland. So yeah, so that was cool. Like it was like all of us coming from all over Europe. So that was really nice.
There's nothing like it, is there? When you meet so many different people from so different cultures, even though it's all within Europe, but it's still very, very different, and you learn about each other and how different your childhood have been probably and things like that. So yeah. It
was so different. Like for me, coming from Switzerland, especially during the winter, and then I remember my first Christmas, like all of us would like bring something.
Oh, something from your country?
Yeah.
So nice. That's really cool.
That was really nice. And I remember bringing foie gras, and
did they like it?
Yeah, but they would call it pâté, and I'm like, excuse me.
Such an insult to foie gras.
Excuse me, like clearly this is not pâté, it's foie gras. That was so funny. And then at the end they would call it fancy pâté.
Fancy pâté, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, and then the magic happened, and then you came to Paris and you met me, and then you're
exactly, yeah. And it was love at first sight.
It was, yeah. Well, you were in one of my first flights as well, so it was the same for me as it was for you with Ryanair. It was my first airline. I'd known that I wanted to do that since I was 14.
It was your first flight, no? It was your training.
It wasn't. No, it was my Czech flight, I think, wasn't it? My third flight. Second or third flight, yeah. So yeah, that was fun. Do you want to tell people what you did to me? I don't fly anymore, so you can tell people what you did to me.
Yeah, you don't fly. That's true. So we can have a laugh now.
Oh, it could have got me fired on my third flight. No, you tell the story if you're not too embarrassed of what you did to a newbie.
Oh my god, that was so funny. I mean, because we thought you'd realise, but then obviously you're from Serbia, so.
Yeah, go on.
So, oh god, that was years ago. I can't remember, but so we were working at the back of the plane, and it was me and this other guy. And we were having a laugh. We were like always having like, it was a really early flight. So we were like.
Was it Athens or something? No.
I can't remember. No, I think it was something.
No, I can't remember. No.
Was it not Nice or Paris to Nice or something?
I remember, yeah.
I remember like we were like having hot drinks. Was it coffee or tea?
Mint tea was mine. What I was drinking. Peppermint, yeah. And
we just wanted to have a laugh. So we put like this small bottle of was it vodka? I think it was.
That's what you told me.
I think it was vodka, and we poured the vodka into like Yelena's tea. But we thought she would realize, and she would just like
No, vodka was my drink of choice back then. So I was like, it was like water for me. They didn't realize. If anything, you probably helped me relax. So that was actually a good help. But
she liked it. She drinks it all. We were like shocked. We were like, oh my god, like she did not. And
you're a terrible person.
My god, but it took a while for us to tell you, right? Like
No, you didn't. You never told me. It's only 2 years later, I think. Randomly, we were talking about it.
I think
and you're like, oh, remember I put vodka in your drinks? Like, when? What? Oh, you did not. Oh yeah, I did do that. You didn't even notice. Like, I didn't know. 2 years later, I think you told me. Good old times.
When I could drink vodka. We were young at the time. I mean.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, it didn't affect me. I mean, not much at least.
Oh no, I mean, you didn't even realize.
Yeah, it was a good old time. I loved the first few years when we were flying, when you were still there as well, and the group of friends that we had. And well, it was mostly French people, wasn't? I mean, you're Swiss, but you're kind of French, and same for me. So it was mostly French people actually. So yeah, so after that you went to Japan, and then that wasn't good enough, and then you went back to the UK, weren't you?
Yes, I was there for 4 years. It was hard work, like working with the Japanese. They're like very strict and everything. And
You were
then,
there for 4 years. Sorry.
yeah, I was there for 4 years in Japan. And then it was hard work. It was really strict. And when you like being foreigner in a Japanese company, it's really hard like to promote. I mean, I could not be a purser or like chief purser, like the head of the cabin. And at the time, like I wanted to promote. I wanted to do something else. I wanted to build my career. So then I decided I wanted to come back to Europe, and the British Airways was recruiting at the time. So I worked for mixed fleets. I loved it, honestly.
So you came here before me, actually. I wasn't even here when you came to the UK, and then you didn't wait for me.
Oh yeah, that's true. I came here before you. Yeah.
Yeah, you were living in the UK before we moved, way before we moved, I think. But you were doing mixed fleet, so that means you were doing short haul and long haul, depending on days, depending on the month.
So I loved it, honestly. Like BA, I think was my favorite airline. Like of all, like I had the best time. I was like, I traveled the world. I had it was good fun. And then I promote really quickly, coming from another airline. I became a purser only like after a year or something. So that was really interesting.
No, I was just saying it was really quick. Yeah, it was. You became purser after a year, so that's the person that's in charge for those that are not flying. A person that's in charge of the whole team, or at least on a short haul flight, the whole team, and then on a long haul and a bigger aircraft is divided, isn't it, in different sections. So you were to start with, you were in charge of one section, and then you ended up. Yeah. It was with BA that you ended up promoted all the way to.
And then
it was with.
Yeah, they call it at the time they call it customer service manager.
All right. Okay.
So I did the training to become customer service manager. And then
I'm smiling because I know what happened there.
So did everything, like, I mean, life was perfect. Everything was going too well.
But you got bored. You want to change.
So I got bored again and I wanted to change. No, Brexit happened.
Okay, that was when Brexit happened.
Yeah, Brexit happened. I mean, at least,
they were talking about it. They voted for it.
Yeah, they voted for Brexit. And at the time, Air France created a new airline, which was called June at the time.
Yeah. I'm rolling my eyes very, very much so. Very, because when you told me you were going to leave BA to go with an airline called June, I was like, what? and wearing sneakers rather than a nice uniform, and I'm like, oh my god, what are you doing? I know you like change, I'm the same, but come on.
I mean, the thing is that I wanted to move back to Paris.
Yeah,
I mean, I always loved Paris, and like I wanted to move back to Paris. And then when I see this airline that was part of Air France, and they were looking for like cabin service managers, like the head of the cabin, I was like, okay, I mean, this is the opportunity to go back to Paris and work for a French company.
Yeah.
Which didn't turn out too well.
They kind of went bust after. Well, no. Can you say they went bust? They sort of did, but
yeah, kind of. I mean,
got shut down. Let's say.
Yeah, they shut it down after like a year and a half. So it was good fun at first. For like a year and a half, I had good fun. I was doing mixed fleet as well, so like short and long haul. I was the head of the cabin, so I loved it. was good fun. After a year and a half, a new CEO came to Air France, and he was going to shut June, and everyone that was working for June would go back to Air France.
That is the advantage of French contracts and working in France in general. It's you are very, very protected by the company and also by the union. The unions are really strong in France, as some people might know. But that it worked out for you guys, didn't it? In the end, you kept your job. You just moved to France.
At least for the newbies, it was good because they were like all like super excited to go to Air France and everything. And they would have better contracts and better conditions. But for us, being like cabin service manager and like all the like instructors and all this, so they told us like, yeah, you can go to Air France, but you'll have to go back to main crew, which is like only like, as we call it, cabin crew, just like main cabin crew. So yeah, then I was demoted. Went to Air France, was demoted to cabin crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there you are now. How long has it been?
My God, time flies. It's been
no pun intended.
Three and a half, I think. Yeah, I've been with Air France for 3.5 years now.
Time for change. Come back to work for BA and move here, please.
Well, you know I love a change. So now after, especially because I'm back down as like main crew. I don't really like the job. I mean,
yeah, it's different once you've tried being in charge. It's very different, kind of moving down and being demoted, as you say, essentially, because even if it's a better airline, a bigger airline, different contracts, but it's still, you're not in charge anymore, and it's not nice. And that's the main reason why lots of pilots don't move airlines as well, because once they're captains for an airline, if they move to a different one, very often they have to go back to first officers, and that's not something that they can cope with very well. I'm in control, I'm in charge, so yeah.
But it's not easy when you've been in charge and then you go back down and then like someone tells you what to do, and then
yeah. So you're coming to BA, yay.
So then I wanted to change. So I was like, okay, I've been with Air France for like 3 years. I'm stuck here. What can I do to change? So I couldn't change job. So then I was like, so if I can't change job, what can I change? So I was like, okay, I'm going to move to a different country.
Hence that now you only have a Paris poster behind you, but you are no longer in Paris. Where are you now?
Oh yeah, I'm no longer in Paris. Very sunny here. It's lovely.
I'm so jealous. I'm freezing.
It's so nice. Like I'm wearing like short sleeve, and I'm loving.
Oh God, my ski underlayer. I'm so cold.
This is the difference. So yeah, I moved to Portugal. About nine months ago. Yeah, about 9 months ago. Decided one day I wanted to move to Portugal.
And now you're learning Portuguese, so that makes...
And I'm learning Portuguese, yeah, and I've been here for like 9 months. I'm in Lisbon, and I love it. I mean, the people are so nice. It's like, I love the culture. Yeah.
The main thing that I loved about Lisbon, everything that you said is completely true. People are really lovely and the culture is amazing. The main thing I like about Lisbon in particular is that there is a pastry shop every 2 steps. Like there's a pastry shop. And I'm like, oh my God, I'd be obese if I lived here.
And I love their pastry, like their pastéis de nata and all this.
Oh, I know. And there is nowhere better than there in Lisbon. What's the shop called in Belém? Is it Belém?
Belém, yeah. The Pastéis de Belém, which was the first, like it's originally from there, yeah. I like the one from Belém, but
you can find nice ones anywhere.
There is this bakery shop called Manteigaria in Lisbon. I think they have 2-3 shops in Lisbon. They have one in Porto, and I mean for me it's one of the best.
Oh, right. Okay, definitely have to take me when I come.
I'll take you there. Yeah.
I have a question. So wait, before I go there, how many languages do you speak then? 5, 6, 7?
So I
So we'll
speak
come together.
French,
Like German,
German,
English,
Japanese. Oh,
Japanese,
yeah, English
English, Japanese,
and Portuguese.
and
Yeah.
Portuguese. And
Yeah.
you started learning Hebrew as well at one point.
Oh, I started learning Hebrew. Yeah.
So that's kind of 5.5 or 5 if you take Hebrew and Portuguese together as one because you're not fluent yet.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and it gets easier, doesn't it? Once you speak 2 or 3 languages, it gets easier to learn. Especially Portuguese is quite similar to French and Spanish. Well, you don't speak Spanish, do you?
I don't speak Spanish. Yeah,
Yes.
but it's very similar. Because on board, when I've got like Spanish customers and they're like, oh, they're trying to speak to me in Spanish, and I'm like, well, I don't speak, but
I can try.
And they're like, and then we start. I mean, they speak to me in Spanish, and I speak to them in Portuguese, and we get by.
Yeah, Latin languages are very similar. If people speak, the problem is that we all speak very fast. But if you slow down, if you know that you have a foreigner opposite you and you speak slowly, it's you can understand generally. Oh dear. So yeah, my question was, do you remember your very first flight, or were you a baby on your very first flight? Yeah.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do. I was flying from Geneva to Barcelona.
On holiday.
On holiday, yeah, on Swiss Air at the time.
What is Swiss Air now?
I mean, they collapsed, I think, in 2000, and now they're called Swiss.
Oh, just Swiss. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Swiss. I think they call it Swiss International Airline. But yeah, Swiss Air was a really good airline at the time. Yeah, that was my first ever flight. I mean, at least the one I can remember. And I think I was like 7 or 8 at the time.
Oh wow, yeah. And did you know you wanted? Did you know straight away you wanted to become a flight attendant?
Academy? Oh yeah, I loved it. I mean, like when they were doing their PA, their announcement, I loved it, and I was like, I told my mom, I was like, I love the language they speak, and I suppose they just spoke the English over the PA, and I was like, I love the cabin crew language.
Oh, sweet.
I remember everything. I loved it.
So yeah, off to the next challenge. So you're in Portugal now. You've been in Portugal for 9 months. So another year or so, and then you move somewhere else, or?
No, I think I'm gonna stuck here I mean, at least for a bit. It's funny about Portugal because I mean, I remember you were talking about the first flight.
Yeah.
I remember my first flight as they call it UM. You know, when it's like when you travel alone, when a child travels alone.
Yeah.
As it in a accompanied minor.
An accompanied minor, yeah.
Yeah. My first flight as a UM, I think I was like 10 or something. Maybe less, maybe 9 at the time. I flew to Porto in Portugal. So I always had like something special, like a bound with Portugal.
Yeah. How come that you flew on your own to Portugal? Was there a reason?
At the time I had a Portuguese nanny.
Oh, right.
And we were like really close. So she was on holiday in Portugal and I came to meet her.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And I always remember, and I was like playing with the kids, like trying to speak Portuguese. So I always like had something special with Portuguese, and I've got Portuguese background as well. So
yeah, you feel at home.
I'm at home, yeah.
That's the one thing. I guess nomads in general, we don't. It's very rare for us to feel at home somewhere, and we're always looking for that. And we build little communities wherever we go. And I think that's why it's easier for us to talk to people and to find friends, because we have to, and we're used to it, I guess. What do you? Is there a culture? I know that you were very fascinated by the Jewish culture and wanting to learn Hebrew. Is there a culture in particular? Is that still the case? So is there a culture in particular that you would like to learn more about, that intrigues you, I guess, and that?
So when I left Paris, there was 2 places I wanted to go. It was Portugal because of my Portuguese ancestry and everything, or Israel, because I mean, as you said, I love the culture. I love like Jewish related culture and everything, and I loved Israel. And then I moved to Portugal because it's part of Europe, and it was easier. Yeah, and then it wasn't that easy. But yeah, if I had to learn like a new language, like a new culture, I think it would be like the Jewish culture.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get into the Jewish culture. If you're not Jewish, it's very difficult to convert. And I think that's a good thing as well. They want to test your commitment and your will to belong, because once you are in there and you belong, you're part of a whole community, and it's very, very welcoming and very, very warm. And
what I really liked about the Jewish is like the family, like very like family orientated, and they're very, the community is very strong.
Yeah, it's a sense of community, isn't it? And I don't know if it's just you and I, or if it's nomads in general, that we kind of we crave that sense of community, I guess, and that sense of belonging. But we also love change, so it's a bit of it's a balancing act. I love change, but I want to belong, but I don't want to stay there. So yeah, it's a balancing act. I was talking about changing career again 2 days ago. I was saying, oh yeah, I want to do this now. And you could see my partner just rolling his eyes. I said, well, listen, I love change. Do you want me to change career every 2 years, or do you want me to move every 2 years? It's up to you. I'm happy to move somewhere. We can all move. But I think changing career might be a bit easier for the family life. So. Yeah. It's something, isn't it? It's something in our blood, in our DNA, in our. Not everyone is like that. I think most people aren't. But once you have it, it's difficult to.
It's difficult to settle in a place and like just For me, because I mean the world is so big and there is like so much to see and so much to like learn from like different culture and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
After a while, I just get bored, you know. I'm just like, okay, I want to learn a new language. I want to do this. I want to move.
Yes, as you say, there's so much to see, and it's an open-mindedness thing, isn't it? And curiosity. Yeah, curiosity. I think is the main word for us. We're just curious. We're just thirsty of knowledge and discovering, and Oh, that was great. Okay, so we are meeting up again for an Emily in Paris episode. Okay, I have to watch them, and then we can do this together. When I watched the first season, for me it was spot on. I was like, this is Paris, and this is a life in Paris in your 20s, and this is how. And then I spoke to my friend who is a Parisian, that you know, and she said, no, it was such a stereotypical view. It's like, no, it's because you're in it and you don't want to see it. I see it from an external point of view. It was spot on.
I mean, for me being foreigners, I was like, oh, this is the life I wanted. This is why I moved to Paris, you know? Yes. Then I suppose you see only the good side of Paris. Like, there is no rubbish on the floor. Yes,
but yeah, of course.
She never used the metro.
No, you can't. In those heels and those outfits, it's not very practical. No.
Yeah, she would just go. She'd go to cafe every day, and then.
Well, which we kind of did as well.
Yeah.
She doesn't drink enough. That would be the only point. She doesn't drink enough. Like we used to drink much more in our 20s in Paris.
Yeah.
As we know from the vodka story now. Can't believe you did that. Anyway. Thank you so much. It was so lovely talking to you. And I'll have to see you very, very soon. Probably on your side because it's warmer.
Yeah, come in here. We'll have some pastation after.
Oh yes. Oh, okay. I need to be good now. It's been Christmas gone. I need to get in order. Oh, thank you so much, sweetie.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Come back anytime. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks.